Welcome back to Joe Stunner Boxing. There was a bit of an upset, quite a considerable upset really, in Japan earlier today being the 13th of March, 2025. Rene Santiago of Puerto Rico, all 32 years of him. He's an orthodox fighter. He came in with 13 wins and 4 defeats, 9 KOs in the wins column. And he wasn't fancied to upset the apple cart and defeat Shokichi Iwata of Japan. Now, this was for the WBO light-flyweight title. Iwata had won the vacant belt against Jairo Noriega on a third-round KO. That was in October of last year, I think. And Iwata much fancied to defeat Santiago, who really was probably brought in as a bit of a gimme. Even though Santiago had never been stopped, he has got 4 defeats on his record. And I think Iwata, very, very aggressive fighter, typical Japanese style, comes forward a lot, throws a lot of punches. Well, they're smaller guys, so they're going to throw a lot of punches, but quite cavalier, like a lot of these Japanese fighters, sort of goes forward, doesn't mind taking one to land 2. It was generally thought that he was going to probably stop Santiago. Well, he didn't. In fact, Santiago was a worthy winner and won a unanimous decision. And from the word go, I kind of liked what Santiago was doing. He was jabbing very well, showed a good jab, was moving, certainly boxing on the back foot, but not running. Now, there were times later on in the fight when it was verging on running, but he certainly didn't stop throwing punches. And for the first 3-4 rounds, even though Iwata was coming forward, Santiago was, kind of matching him. Iwata looked kind of ominous, and he was landing some good body punches from maybe the 3rd or 4th. And I thought, okay, that's definitely going to slow Santiago down, especially in the 5th round, where suddenly Santiago, the gap was closing. Iwata was getting very, very close. And like I say, landing the body punches, you thought, we're not even halfway through the fight yet. And already Iwata looks like he's grinding the guy down. 5th round was by far his best round. But then in the 6th round, Santiago came out and had a really good round. And he did a lot of moving. But he was being very proactive, landing lots of punches, clusters of punches, flurries with both hands. And they weren't really, in the sixth round, he wasn't trying to hurt Iwata, but at the same time, they weren't, don't hurt me punches, don't hit me punches. He was keeping his hands moving. And I think probably the tactic was, or maybe what was going through his mind was, this is a 12-round fight. And this guy, we're in the middle rounds now, and this guy thinks I'm going to unravel. I'm not going to do that. I'm going to keep throwing my hands, keep letting my hands go, keep moving my feet, and I'm going to frustrate this guy. Now, Iwata in the middle rounds, for whatever reason, this must have been a subconscious thing. He neglected the body. He landed some very good body punches in rounds 3, 4, 5, certainly in 4 and 5, and he stopped doing it. And you have to say, well, why? Now it may be. Let's give Santiago some credit here. He was definitely making Iwata think and reset. And when you've got someone in front of you who's moving a lot, that's bad enough. But when they're actually throwing punches the moment you step into range, that's even more frustrating. But of course, that is essentially the art of boxing. Hit and don't be hit is the oldest definition of boxing, isn't it? So Santiago deserved a lot of credit for his tactics, even though it perhaps wasn't the most entertaining of stuff that we were watching. But ultimately, with these tactics, we ended up with Iwata just following him around the ring and not really doing anything, constructive. And if you just wander around after someone, there's no way on God's earth you're going to pick up points on the cards. You shouldn't get points for just moving forward. It's got to be constructive. You can box aggressively on the back foot, which is probably what Santiago did early on, and there were moments towards the end of the fight, the last few rounds, where even though Iwata was thinking, I'm going to have to get my skates on here, I'm going to have to do something, and he was kind of trying to sort of almost bum rush Santiago. Santiago was standing and fighting. He wasn't. He couldn't move that quickly for 12 rounds or that much for 12 rounds, but he was. He didn't mind standing there and having a little exchange. That was very, very, very impressive towards the end. And Iwata just sort of ran out of ideas, really. I mean, there was only one round, was it the fifth, when he looked like he might be getting really close and sort of ragdolling Santiago. But Santiago stayed very disciplined to his tactics. And like I say, I think he deserved the most of the rounds. I can't remember what I scored it. I was scoring it, and I probably I think I had it like 117, 111 or something like that. So well done to Santiago. He is, despite his quite patchy record, he's now 14-4, and went all the way to Japan and picked the belt off one of the Japanese lads. Very, very good little fighter. And don't forget, 32 years old. That's supposedly not young for a light flyweight nowadays. You're getting on a bit. For him to pick up a belt, he's won sort of, interim belts before, and he did fight for the WBO light fly title before, but he lost to Jonathan Gonzalez on a unanimous decision. But he's a tough guy to stop. He's a tough guy to hurt. So, yeah, well done to him. I don't know if you saw this fight. If you did, leave some comments below. Tell me what you think. I've got a feeling that Santiago will be coming back to Japan, maybe for a unification or for another Japanese guy will want to try and get that belt back for Japan. But at the moment, it belongs in Puerto Rico. So let me know what you think of this fight. If you watched it, of course, it's on YouTube if you haven't, and you want to take a look. And yeah, what I'm going to say now. Subscribe to the channel, hit the like button, do all that good stuff. Promote the channel. It's your channel as much as mine. Bit boring if I was just sitting here making videos for no one. So yeah, spread the word about Joe Stunner Boxing. All right, ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much. We shall speak again soon. Meanwhile, bye for now.